Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. Jim says specifically, do not ask me any questions about my shooting this week.
Right.
So
just call him out.
So, Jim, what'd you do?
Didn't shoot, Tom, but you know what? I didn't miss either.
Well, there you go. You're perfect so far.
Batting 1,000, right?
No misses.
No, just a crazy week. Although last weekend I did have a need to have my firearm displayed.
What?
Yeah, I went to a restaurant that was normally a pretty decent place, and walked in, and gal I was with decided she wanted to have a vulgar cigarette, so she stepped out of the building, and I stayed inside with her daughter, and kind of peeking out there to keep an eye on her, etc. Mm-hmm. And even there were two of Toledo's finest right there. These guys decided to approach this girl anyway, and it was not comfortable at all.
Wait. So there are two cops out there?
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, you have somebody come up and
approached her. She made a beeline for the car and got in there. They were trying to get into the car with her in there.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that was real interesting.
What did the cops do?
Wondered why I was running out of the building and kind of sashayed out there at the good old time.
They probably were unaware of what was going on, and you were paying attention to it. So what did you have to do? What'd you do?
Well, I ran it. We had to wait for food. We could have taken off, I guess, but we waited for our food. I got in the car and sat with her, obviously, and these guys took off, and then they came back, got out of the car, and I had it right on my thigh, and they looked in the window, saw it, got back in the car, and drove off.
Oh, so you didn't have to actually pull it?
I didn't pull it, but it was on my thigh. They saw it. They looked in the vehicle and saw it, and they kept walking.
It is interesting how often bad guys, when they see that you have a gun, decide they want to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it wasn't a situation where I could, draw and point at them, because it was borderline. It
wasn't called for yet.
Correct.
Right.
So and that tactic seemed to work. That was the next step, obviously, but it didn't have to go that far. And
See, I told you wearing that AR on your thigh was going to work out for you.
Yeah, so that was
as long as it's noticeable.
True. And the carry holster for it was hard to find. Thigh holster. But yeah, it was a pretty weird day overall.
I guess so. Wow.
Yep.
Well, once again, glad you had it. Glad you didn't have to use it.
Yep.
It's kind of where you are.
And I can see why people would, just go off and start shooting and do stupid stuff if they're not trained at all, because it was tense.
And that's kind of, we talk about all the time, is the more training you have, I think the less likely you are to use it. Jane Ann?
I agree. I am going to avoid an altercation at any way I can.
Just about any cost.
Yes.
Just about. Not,
Unless my loved ones or myself are in danger, I'm going to go the other way.
Yep.
I'm going to back off.
And the weird thing was, it wasn't a known horrible part of town. It wasn't anything that was like, well, you shouldn't have been there in the first place. It's a restaurant we go to all the time.
Oh, yeah. People always say, well, I carry if I'm going to go to the bad part of town. So, well, you know what? First of all, you don't know what's going to be happening. Bad guys show up anytime, anywhere, all the time. And the other thing is, it doesn't have to be a bad person. I mean, you have to think about the terms here, but sometimes you could just run across crazy. Sometimes crazy just jumps up in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived in northern Arizona. I live in Prescott now, but it's the crazy people from the valley who, when they lose it, they go north. They go up to Flagstaff.
They come up to see you.
Yeah. So even if you live in Flagstaff or Prescott, very safe towns, very little crime, the crazy people are coming out of the woodworks. The reality is,
no matter where you are,
it could happen.
Crazy can pop up, and people say, well, there's no reason for that. There is no reason for it. That's the nature of random. That's what random is. I put myself into a bad situation. It's just like, holy cow, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah, if you knew, you wouldn't go. I would hope that's what you think. Yeah.
That's that old deal. So, what gun would you take if you had to go to a gunfight? Well, I think I would decline the invitation.
Mm-hmm.
How about if we just don't go?
Yep.
So there's all that. Well, I'm glad it worked out for you. Holy cow.
Yeah, it was kind of, it was tense.
It was. So there's that. You guys do even the 250 class, which is the first class you have here at Gunsight. You do the mindset talk very early in the class.
Yes.
You might just talk for a second about what the mindset thing is you talk about.
Well, that is what Gunsight is known for, is the mindset lecture. We do it on Wednesday morning.
Okay.
We do it after you have had a chance to handle your firearm, after you have sent rounds downrange and you know what it feels like. And the mindset lecture is just teaching you how to live with Cooper's color code. You walk along, most people walk around in white. They don't look out their windows. They don't look at what's going on. They walk out of a grocery store and they just don't know. If you've come to Gunsight and you're aware of the mindset, you're going to walk around in yellow all the time. You're going to be you're going to be wiser. You're going to be ready.
More observant.
More observant. And when you walk out of that grocery store, you're going to go left. You're going to look right. When you get to your car, it's a habit to look in the back seat.
Right.
To open the door and back up for a minute and make sure everything's good.
So there's nobody hiding in there.
And that is the key to survival, I think, is to have a good mindset. If you actually think something is going to happen, with me, if I have the gun on my hip, I will just put my hand on the butt of the gun and not draw it. I'm not going to brandish it, but I'm ready.
Right.
I'm in orange. And,
And then leave the situation.
Yes, and back off and leave the situation.
Right.
Hopefully I can always do that. I've never had a situation I couldn't back out of. But then red is when you actually have to take action. And the mindset, if you walk around in yellow all the time, you're not going to end up in a situation where you are not going to be able to escape or survive it.
But it's so easy to drift back into just driving along, not paying attention, don't even know what's going on. I actually took a piece of yellow tape and put it on the center of my steering wheel. That is my reminder that when you get in this car, get yourself back into yellow. It's like, it actually takes a mental effort to look for things, to not daydream, to be there at the moment. It becomes a habit, but it's not easy to get to at first, is it?
It's not, but I truly believe after you've had the mindset lecture at Gunsight, which lasts about an hour and a half, many people say, I don't want to carry a gun anymore. I'm done. I've had people walk away.
Really?
And say, I can't do that. I could never kill anyone.
Not for me.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Huh.
Very seldom, but it has happened. And that's a good thing. If you don't have the mindset to carry a gun, you shouldn't be carrying one.
That's a real interesting. I would not have thought of that.
Wow, that's kind of weird. That's almost like you're willing to lay down and be a lamb.
Uh-huh. They're sheep.
Sheep.
I would rather be a sheep than to have that on my conscience.
Wow.
It's hard to comprehend, but at the same time, it takes some courage on the part of that person to say, I have gone through 2 days of this training and now I'm out.
Yeah.
I've just learned this is not for me. Okay, well, good for that person for figuring that out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't understand a way of thinking where you say, I'm just going to let bad people do whatever they're going to do because I'm unwilling to stop it.
Yeah, that's the part I can't grasp.
Definitely.
Makes no sense to me.
You can go on YouTube and Google Jeff Cooper's Mindset Lecture. It's there.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
It's the original Mindset Lecture.
And Tom, with all the practice you've had, you're able to stay in yellow while you're texting and driving with your earbuds in, right?
This is true. Well, as long as I don't have to put down my beer. I mean, come on. That's just why they invented six-pack coolers, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. That's right.
Oh,
It's
my.
actually much better if I have someone there to help me open them up for me.
Sure.
It's a whole different deal. Exactly. No, it's Jane and Jim and Tom have heard me say this many times, is that once you start becoming more observant, not only are you safer, but I would submit that you actually start seeing interesting, cool things that you missed before. Conversations, interactions of people, just stuff that you were just kind of zoning out and going through life. And when you're scanning right and left and you're looking for things, you go, wow, that was weird. But you end up with seeing stuff.
Yeah. I even scan right and left when I'm driving.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just a natural thing once you start. And not just looking right and left, but looking out, looking ahead.
Project your vision far.
Yes.
Looking way down the road.
Just like when you're going through an outdoor simulator. You're looking to the left, you're looking to the right, but you're looking out there too.
It's interesting you say that because I don't know if I call it eye discipline or whatever it is. In fact, I was just telling Bob yesterday, I work with a couple of guys who are contractor special forces guys that really know their stuff. We were doing actually one of those video simulator deals. And it was inside of an office building with a hallway. And the first thing these guys have been through training, the best training you can get from the military. And the first thing they said was, one says, I'll take long, the other said, I'll take short. Because you can't look long and short at the same time.
Yes.
And that's that team tactics of going, okay, I'm going to be looking down the hall and you look short. Because if I'm looking short, I won't even see this guy come out way down the hall. It's kind of what you're talking about.
Yes.
But, Jim, I'm thinking about, you take my training as an instrument pilot. You scan all the time. You scan the instruments. You're looking around. And now I've gotten to where I apply that to my driving. I'm looking the left side of the road, the right side of the road, and way down. And then left side of the road, right side of the road, and then way down. And it's just, your eyes just are kind of bouncing and scanning all the time. And
it sounds like running a radio show. You're looking here, looking there.
Clearly, I don't pay attention to that.
Yeah. You know, Jane Ann, I had a question for you, Jane Ann, as far as situational awareness. I'd like your take on this. You said, you know, as far as you're looking left, you're looking right. You're aware of you're always in situation yellow, so you're aware of what's going on. What I've found, and I'd like your take on this, is if you're looking around and there's, you know, potential bad guys, whatever, you've spotted them. You got to keep an extra eye on that guy or that girl over there, etc. Have you noticed also that when they spot you spotting them, that's a huge advantage for you?
Yes. You'll look them right in the eye, and they'll look away. They'll leave.
Yep.
I really learned a lot about that when Black Lives Matter came to Prescott, Arizona. And we love our little town, and every one of us that carried concealed went out to the courthouse square that day, and we stood there. I stood in front of my favorite jewelry store, the Artful Eye, and I looked, and we didn't make any moves with anything, but we watched those people who were heading for the...
These are people who were bussed up from Phoenix.
Yeah, they were bussed up from Phoenix.
Yeah,
they walked in from a parking lot, and we watched them. We never took our eyes off of them. And I know my husband was standing with me, and there were a lot of people in front of the palace, but we were all carrying concealed. The palace people were carrying open, but nobody really knew who we were and why we were there, but we did. And we watched them, and as they went one way or the other, I watched the police watching them. Okay. And that was very interesting, the way they stood there and how observant they were. And you get yourself into a crowd like that, you really start looking around.
But when somebody sees you looking at them, I think it just identifies, it's almost like you're saying, okay, I got you, I'm watching you, I know what you're up to. And not in this particular case, but in any case, if you're going across the parking lot and you got people there who are, you're not sure about them, or for some reason you're thinking it's a little bit weird, you just put your eyes on them and let them know,
yes.
I'm looking at you.
Yes, yeah. They're counting on the element of surprise, and you just diffuse that. Let's go find somebody else.
No, exactly. And it really does work. And people say, don't make eye contact. No, I want to bore my vision right into them.
Yep.
Like, I got you, you're looking at me, and I know what you're up to.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
And basically, you know what, you make the point, Jim. They want to move on to somebody who's easier pickings.
They want to move on to the person who's getting in their car. Or walking across the parking lot, staring at their phone. Exactly.
I think what a lot of concealed carry permit holders don't consider, or people that carry in general, don't necessarily consider, is they are decent people. You've got to think like a scumbag. To protect yourself, you really have to think how they think.
Yeah, you say, okay, because they want to identify the weak link, the slow deer in the back of the pack. They're trying to find the weak one out there. And boy, you can't look any weaker than walking across the parking lot, staring at your phone, being unaware of what's going on.
That is so embarrassing when I see people doing that. I'm like, oh, I can't believe you're doing that.
I've been walking through airports and had people walking toward me in the airport, and they're staring at their phone, and you know they're going to run into you. Oh, yeah. Right?
Yep.
And I've just got where I just don't care anymore, and just like very loudly, I'll go, heads up. And they look up at me like, what? It's like, basically, get your head out of your rear end.
See, that's how we're different. I just duck my shoulder.
You just run them over, do you?
Yeah, let them run into me, yeah.
I was just in an airport on Wednesday. I spent 7 hours in an airport. It was
Oh,
very
lucky
long.
you.
But as the people were coming into the terminal, one of them almost ran up to me, and I my thing is, hello.
Yeah.
Really? Hello.
Yeah.
And they go, whoa, I'm backing off of you. I'm afraid of you. I'm not moving.
Right. And they're going to run into you.
Yeah.
And they're just clueless. It's just like, okay, on the phone. Well, and even people say, well, your hand's free, all that. No, talking on the phone is distracting.
These people are talking and texting at the same time.
Really?
They're just like this.
With the earbuds.
What is so important? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all the things you'd like to say is that, look, the world needs sacrificial lambs. And some of these folks are just going to be doing their thing there. And look, going all the way back to where we started here, not everyone is ready to be self-sufficient. Not everyone is going to take care of himself or herself. In fact, the majority are not. The majority of people are not going to get the training. They're not going to get a gun. They're not going to take this stuff seriously. And for whatever reason, they resent that we do. Because I think it's because when we take responsibility for ourselves and for our loved ones, and they don't, then they suffer by comparison, and they don't like to suffer. So rather than them saying, I'm going to go get the training, they say, no, you shouldn't have a gun.
Yeah.
There, I want you to be defenseless because you being self-sufficient makes me feel bad about myself. Weird, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so many people today are training. I have to give a majority of us credit.
A lot of people. I mean, you got, how much are you guys booked right now?
Oh, we just when we book a full 250 class, we open up another one. At the end of May, we have 3 250 pistol classes in the same week.
Going on at the same time.
Going on at the same time. We're fortunate enough to have that many ranges.
Right.
But it's amazing.
Well, you got over 3,000 acres here.
Yes, 3,200 to
Holy
be
cow.
exact. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, but you're running like triple 250 class and then a double 350 class and other classes going on at the same time.
Yeah.
The place is full all the time.
Yes.
If somebody wants to get a class, they better book it.
Yes, especially in the beautiful weather season, which is April, May, June.
Right.
Yeah.
We always knew you had a lot of class, Jean Ann.
It's not me.
It's classes, a lot of classes.
Oh, classes, okay. But I'm still right.
Yes, you are. Exactly right. Well, congratulations on figuring out your green dot thing, whatever
My
it is.
pistol-mounted
Your pistol-mounted optic thing.
Exactly.
PMO.
PM. You just, I mean, it was really funny. When you came in, you had your pistol, you came out of the range, and you were just like beaming. It's like, I figured it out. This is working.
Yeah, I saw Dave Fink on the front porch, and I went, I got
it. Very cool. So you are now a proponent of the pistol-mounted optic.
I am. I'm still going to shoot my 1911 just because I love it, and it's friendly. And if I was going to take a class, though, I would take it with the pistol-mounted optic because the more you shoot it, the better you get. And if you're going to carry it, you better be good at it.
Yep. Good point.